Indonesian horror gaming is back, and this time it's going interdimensional. DreadOut 3, or as the devs are stylizing it, DreadOut is one of the most hyped indie horror sequels of 2026, and the question everyone's asking is, can digital happiness finally deliver a polished, genuinely terrifying experience? Or is this another case of incredible atmosphere let down by clunky execution? This is Adoogez, and today we're breaking down everything we know. Melinda is back. If you played the originals, you know her. She's older now, visibly more battle-hardened. And this time, her mission goes way beyond a haunted school or a cursed town. As a keeper of the dark, Linda gets pulled into an interdimensional rabbit hole to hunt down a supernatural power threatening the balance between the living and the dead. Think bigger lore, deeper stakes, and the darkest chapter yet in her story. So what's the actual loop here? DreadOut 3 is a non-linear survival horror adventure. You explore haunted Indonesian environments, both during the day and at night, which changes the threats you face. You're traversing back and forth between the physical world and the spiritual realm, solving puzzles, hunting ghosts, and trying not to get your soul devoured. It's slow, atmospheric, and intentionally tense at every turn. The signature mechanic of this series, the Irisphone camera, is fully back and better than ever. In DreadOut 2, the phone lost a lot of its visual identity. It felt generic. Digital happiness hurt the feedback. And in DreadOut 3, they've rebuilt it with a stronger HUD presence, a redesigned Crosshair system, and a clear visual personality. You snap photos to detect, weaken, and ultimately take down spirits. It's Fatal Frame's DNA dressed in Indonesian folklore, and it looks sharper than ever. One mechanic that really stands out is the perspective switch. You play in third person by default while exploring, but the moment you raise that Irisphone, you shift into first person. That shift isn't just a cool trick. It genuinely changes how terrifying each encounter feels. In the demos shown at Gamescom 2025, reviewers noted the spirits moved fast and were hard to frame, which added a whole new layer of panic to an already claustrophobic experience. On top of combat, there's a Ghostpedia system built into Linda's phone. As you discover and document spirits, you fill out entries with their lore, backstory, and origin. This is a huge win for horror fans and folklore enthusiasts. The non-linear design also means you're not just following a breadcrumb trail. You can approach environments differently, uncovering secrets in your own order. It gives the game genuine replay incentive. Let's talk about why this series matters. DreadOut isn't just using Asian horror as aesthetic window dressing. The ghosts here, the kuntilanak, the tuyule, the babi come with real cultural weight, real mythology, real ritual context. DreadOut 3 expands that roster with new urban legends set in a rural Indonesian environment that feels genuinely alien to Western players. That cultural specificity is exactly what makes this series so unsettling in a way most Western horror games can't replicate. This is the most mature chapter in Linda's journey by a long shot. She's no longer a high school student stumbling into the unknown. She's a keeper of the dark, someone who has lived with this power, survived it, and is now being pulled even deeper into something far beyond what she's faced before. The trailers show a Linda who's weathered and carrying real psychological weight. If digital happiness commits to that narrative depth, this could be the defining chapter of the entire lore. Visually, DreadOut 3 is a massive step up from its predecessors. The environments in the trailers look dense, layered, and genuinely threatening. The spiritual realm sequences especially stand out with surreal geometry and lighting that feels genuinely wrong in all the right ways. The day and night cycle isn't just cosmetic, it actively reshapes how haunted each environment feels. This is the most cinematic DreadOut has ever looked. Let's be real about the elephant in the room. The DreadOut series has always carried some baggage. Clunky movement, awkward level design, ghost encounters that frustrate more than they terrify. The remastered collection in 2025 showed that time hasn't magically fixed those original issues. And early beta feedback on DreadOut 3 raised some flags, with some players feeling the gameplay leans too close to the first game's more sluggish systems. There's already a community debate brewing around the camera crosshair design. Some players felt the crosshair in the Gamescom demo was too distracting, covering ghost faces during tense moments. The devs acknowledged it and are iterating, which is a good sign. But it tells you that ghost combat still needs some polish. When your core mechanic feels imprecise, tense encounters can tip from scary into annoying very fast. And ultimately, DreadOut 3 is still unreleased. Everything we know comes from trailers, a short Gamescom demo, and developer devlogs. The promise is huge. The concept is brilliant, but Digital Happiness has to deliver on the full experience with consistent pacing, tight encounter design, and a story that sticks the landing. That's the part we can't confirm yet. Based on everything we've seen, DreadOut 3 is shaping up to be the most ambitious entry in this cult horror franchise. A grown-up Linda, a redesigned Irisphone, stunning visuals, non-linear design, and some of the richest Indonesian folklore representation in gaming. If you're a fan of the series, this is an absolute wishlist ad right now. If you're new, jump into the remastered collection first, then get ready for this. Adoogez hype rating, 8 out of 10, anticipated. The bones are exceptional. The lore is deep. The atmosphere looks terrifying. Now, Digital Happiness just needs to close the gap between vision and execution. We're watching this one very closely. Here's my question for you. Are you team Irisphone only, or did you actually prefer the axe combat from DreadOut 2? Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want sharp, honest previews and reviews like this, hit that subscribe button and join the Adoogez squad. We'll see you in the next one.